Hello and a huge warm welcome. My name is Susan Yates and I am an artist and author and host of the Inspire Sketching membership as well as this lovely YouTube channel here. So a huge welcome to you. So today I'm talking about sketching in small pockets of time. And what I'd like to do today is create a tiny sketchbook spread together. Essentially what this means is taking a small sketchbook such as this one here, taking the small pages and dividing them up into even smaller sections or grids or thumbnails so that you can create tiny little sketches in small pockets of time. Now this kind of sketching is the sort of thing that I can do on a daily basis, regular small bits of sketching in those pockets of time when I've got 5 minutes and I want something creative to do. It's really easy to take a little spread like this and do a small section of drawing, doodling, whatever your subject matter, it doesn't matter. You can choose something that really excites you. But the aim is to just create these really small sketchbook spreads so that you can fit in tiny sketches wherever you happen to be with your little sketchbook. So grab a pen and let's set this grid up and let's get sketching. Okay, so here we are just above one of my small portable pocket sketchbooks, and I tend to have 2 different sizes available at any one time. I've got this one, which is the large moleskin journal, and here we have a grid that has been set up for small landscape drawings. This is the pocket size one, which is a bit sort of postcard sized. And again, here I have a grid set up for some doodling subject matters. Now both grids have been set up in a very similar way using a formal cut-out grid created from a cardboard template. So if you want to create a cardboard template, it's really rather simple. Just grab some scrap cardboard. I tend to use things like the backs of sketchbooks after I've used them up, or you can use cereal packets or any scrap cardboard that comes in packaging. It's great to reuse and recycle. On the cardboard, I then grab a ruler and a pencil and mark out whatever size of box that I'd like to use. So for example, this small one here is 1-inch sized boxes, so little 1-inch squares. And then when I want to lay out a sketchbook grid, I mark that out. I cut that out using a metal ruler, a craft knife and a cutting mat. This can then be transferred over to my sketchbook. So let's find an empty page here. I simply line this up on the sketchbook page. So let's do one here. Use a pencil and simply use the cardboard grid. So simple grey cardboard is fantastic for this because it withstands the pencil being used several times over. A paper template, something like this one here, might not last quite as long, but of course it does do a similar job. So you can simply use the paper template, and here I would just use some scrap paper. It's a paper that perhaps has some other bits and pieces on it, and I'd reuse it, draw and cut a hole the size I want, and then I can lay that on the sketchbook page. So very often what I will do is I will set up grids that fit the standard size sketchbooks that I like to use, which are generally these 2. So for example, this cardboard grid here has been set up and it's a slight rectangle, sort of landscape in format. And then I draw this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times down the page. And I've got this wonderful 2x4 grid, or when I've got a double page spread, I've got this wonderful 16 space grid to use for the same subject matter over and over again. What I find is when I divide a page up into these small sections, it feels very approachable. If I open a blank sketchbook page like this and feel like, let's say when I'm out and about and I want to sketch a landscape, filling this whole double page spread with a single landscape can, number 1, take quite a lot of time, and number 2, be relatively intimidating. However, if I open a grid like this that has little spaces, I know that I could just draw one little space in one little 5 minutes that I have when I'm out and about, and then I could close my sketchbook and I'm done for the day. So a couple of recommendations for subject matters are simple doodling. So for example, these few pages here in this sketchbook are simple doodling techniques. I use a fine liner pen just to make the marks more visible and more permanent, and so I don't have the tendency to want to rub them out. I just use a small fine liner pen and do a little pattern using dots. A really simple technique, but something that can be completed very, very quickly. And this is exactly how I slow down and do sketching on a regular basis, just in small pockets of time, because you really don't need 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, the perfect landscape, the perfect setup. To do sketching, you can just grab one pen and do tiny little bits of sketching. When I'm doing something like a doodling exercise like this, where I'm drawing these tiny little circles, I find that slowing down to fill each little square very meditative. And it's also very satisfying when you kind of work through these pages and do maybe 1 or 2 squares one day, another one, and then eventually by, let's say, the end of the week, you've filled the entire page. Now, I think one of the most important things to encourage when laying out a sketchbook like this and enjoying working in these tiny grids and thumbnails is to think about playfulness. To just play and see what happens. I find that when I'm doing, let's say, 16 studies of different bits and pieces that I see when I'm out in a landscape, I can just kind of have fun with this and experiment with different colours, different viewpoints. You know, this lighthouse I've sketched a couple of times from different views, and none of these are perfect. They are completely imperfect, but they're fun experiments where I've really enjoyed the experience, and I've played with the colours and tried it in different ways. Rather than just doing one sketch where I've got one shot and that's it, then I've got to wait for it to dry before I can turn the page. What I can do is have 16 tries. I can do 16 sketches if I wanted to. But you know what? If I didn't want to, I could do one, which gives that wonderful freedom and takes that pressure away and allows you to really play with your subject matter and play with your materials, which is something that I really love and enjoy when I'm sketching. So you don't need much time, you don't need many materials, just, you know, a little cardboard or even paper grid. And even if you don't want to create this, you can just mark it out with a ruler, or do you know what? You can just draw it freehand. But I hope you enjoy this little look into creating a tiny sketchbook spread. So I really hope you enjoyed setting up a tiny sketchbook spread in your small sketchbook. If you enjoyed this, then I have something really exciting for you that I know you will absolutely love. I have a brand new course called Tiny Moments coming up at the end of August 2025. And this course is all about using sketchbooks and small spaces within those sketchbooks, grids and thumbnail spaces, to create mindful drawings on a huge range of topics. So the course will completely overview how we set up grids and thumbnails, why we sketch in small pockets of time, and give you a range of different subject matters such as doodling and sketching warm-ups, playing with your materials, plants and nature, and even landscapes and everyday objects. So hopefully there's something for everybody, and you can easily create wonderful little sketches in simple pockets of time. So this course goes much deeper than this short video here on YouTube has today. It shares with you video tutorials where you can see my sketchbook from above, like you saw today, detailing exactly how to do each tutorial. There's a number of audio recordings to boost your confidence and talk about creativity in a different way, as well as lots of support, advice on materials, and much more. So doors to Tiny Moments open very soon, and I would love for you to be the first to hear about it and to get a hold of some really exciting bonuses that I'm including with the course. Just look to the description below this YouTube video and join the waiting list today. Doors open soon, and I cannot wait to see you there. Now don't forget to share your comments below this video, share your tiny sketchbook spreads that you have set up, and I'll see you next week on the YouTube channel for a sneaky peek behind the scenes of the course. I'll see you soon. Bye.